Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to run through my typical portrait workflow, which will cover retouching, so getting rid of blemishes, skin smoothing with frequency separation, as well as dodging and burning and adding a little bit more style to your image by manipulating the color of the sky. So let's get into it. So this is a friend of mine, Auburn, who's a personal trainer, and we had some pretty great access to a rooftop balcony here in downtown Denver, and this was the big, straight out of camera. This is what the shot looked like. So I have the sun behind her, kind of coming on the front of her chest, and I have a light, maybe a beauty dish, I believe a beauty dish, which is being fired off to fill the front of her. So you can see the before and after, and how we've added a little bit more mood and style to the image, as well as some dodging and burning, which really brings the image to life. So I will throw all of this into a folder, and there we go. Let's do it. So the beginning will be a Command J. So we'll copy the layer, and I will name this simply Retouch. And here, boom, first off the bat, sensor dust, yuck. I need to clean my sensor. So we will get rid of some of that sensor dust. If there's a few of them, might be some more over here. Okay, and I like to kind of start from the outside and work my way in. So check out my edges. If there's anything distracting, I will remove it. And nothing really jumps out to me right here. So let's go further in. Okay, so Auburn naturally has some really nice skin. Thank you, Auburn, for making my job a little easier. And I'm using the healing brush by hitting J, and I'm using the healing brush because I can choose my anchor point by hitting Alt or Option. So I can choose here and then paint here, so you can see where it's pulling from. It's source of replacement, essentially. And just a few blemishes just around. And with this, you're not trying to get everything gone, because the frequency separation can kind of help hide some of the other stuff that we'll cover. But main points of contrast, even these little smile lines or whatever you have, yeah, just a simple cleanup. And we can even do some of these strands of hair. I'll show you how I'll go about that. For me, it usually helps to kind of start in an area and work until that area is done. So you see this cheek. This cheek's getting some sunlight, which emphasizes a little bit more of the blemishes. So we'll just, address that. And so I've now switched over to the spot healing brush, and the main difference here is the spot healing brush I set to content aware fill or replace rather than the normal blend mode. And I find that this helps because if I'm in a tough area like right in here, it will piece it together. I mean, look at that. That's fine for my standards. And you know, I'm not gonna worry too much about these flyaways because, you know, they were there. I'm not trying to make it perfect. Just trying to reduce the number of them that might be distracting. Like these ones here, they're being lit by the sun, but they're in this darker part of the image. So I'm gonna remove those. And again, this is the spot healing brush. I'm not choosing an anchor point. I'm just running through it. It knows, based on the surrounding areas, it'll fill it in and does a pretty good job, as you can see. Yeah, maybe a few up in here. Okay, that's not bad. We'll check out maybe some of her arms. There's a little bit of a vein there, so I don't know. I'm indifferent. I'm not sure if I want it there or not. Let's see. Get rid of it. And we will do her a favor. All right, that's pretty much a basic cleanup. I might do just these couple more over here. So that's a pretty basic cleanup. I'll show you before and after. You know, we're not going crazy with it. We're just minimizing some of the stuff that we don't like. You know, punch in, punch out. See how you feel about it. And from here, let's go ahead and do the sky, because with the frequency separation, you kind of have to merge things up. So I want to do that before. So now that we're done the retouching aspect of touch-ups and blemish removal, we're going to manipulate the sky. And I'm going to do that just with a simple selective color. We're going to crank up the blacks for the blues, and we're going to add a little bit of yellow in there as well. And we'll do this for the blues and the cyan. You can see it really start to kind of come to life here. And you see right away, we kind of have a better mood. Look at that. One selective color adjustment layer. Just manipulating the blues and the cyan. So we've done retouching. We've done a little bit of a sky adjustment. Now we're going to get into the skin smoothing. So we will Command J and copy the background layer, do that twice. And I'm going to actually throw these into its own group, name it FS for frequency separation. We'll name the bottom one color and the top one details. I can type. Okay, turn off the top layer, come down to the bottom one, and we're going to blur it. So we'll go up to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And typically I'm usually around 8 for the radius or pixels. And this might be a little too much. You essentially just don't want to be able to see any texture in here. And that's doing it. Let's see if we go to 6. I found 6 works. And we'll reveal or unclick the eye for our top layer and select that. Go to Apply Image, and we will go to Color and subtract to 128. The 128 is gray. That's middle gray between 256. That's half of 256, which is the full color spectrum. That's why we have that. And 2 is the scale. So you can see if you have this where almost looks like a high pass radius, you'll make sure you're on subtract for blending to 128 and that you're selecting your color layer, which is beneath it. We'll hit OK. And with that same top layer, you're going to want to do a linear light. So right now, if you unclick your groups, nothing should happen because you haven't done anything. So that's a good sign. We'll turn off the top layer, come back to the bottom layer, and I'm going to pull up my mixer brush. And again, make sure you have nothing filling in. This is a transparent or opaque, nothing's filling in. And these are my settings here, 18% flow coming out. So you see the darker tones here to the lighter tones here. You don't want to go left and right. I would say up and down, because you don't want to cross-contaminate or pollute, whatever you want to do, because you're essentially clicking and dragging across. So you see what that does when you go across. I would recommend staying up and down so it stays true to the actual shot. So here we go. This is a good, nice, big, soft brush, because we just want to smooth it out. And you can see what I'm doing, where I'm like, working the image how it is. You don't want to reconstruct anything. We just want to smooth out the skin as natural as possible. Same thing with the nose. The nose is one of the first things people see on a portrait, and you want it to look natural. You don't want to overdo anything. Again, all of these adjustments, doing it in the blur, are going to look extreme, and that's okay, because we can always feather it off by changing the opacity after the fact. So again, you see I'm kind of going on the side of the bridge of the nose, the middle of the bridge, and so on and so forth. So again, here, kind of want to follow where the tonalities take you. See, it's lighter, darker, lighter, so you want to stay the light with the light. You don't want to drag this light into the dark as much. And again, we'll come down here to the neck just so it's all uniform and everything kind of has the same feel across all of her skin. Yeah, so we're just going to keep working our way through here. And adjusting the brush size for each area works really well, because some areas, again, here you see it goes smaller to bigger. So you want to stay within the same kind of, see how I'm going to, one big, so we got one big, then we'll do a smaller one on the side for the shadow. And this is going to help accentuate body features, especially when you get to dodging and burning. So here we go, cover this, a little bit of the belly button. Again, we're doing more vertical lines because we're working on more of a vertical part of the body. We'll turn that top layer back on, and we'll just see exactly what that frequency separation did. So you see, it still looks natural, it still has a good feel to it. It's just smoothing these imperfections and points of contrast. And you could probably do it a little bit more, but I don't want to overdo it. This is feeling good to me, and especially down here in the arms. You'll see the arms where it really, all these imperfections, it just looks smooth and clean. And now I will show you a little bit of dodging and burning. We'll do one curves adjustment for my dodge. So I'll pull kind of a highlight midtone bump up and throw it on luminosity. This makes sure that I don't affect the color. So when painting on the skin, it's not going to change the color saturation like a dodge and burn will, destroy and be destructive to your file, when this is less and non-destructive. Again, Command I, we're going to paint white to reveal what our dodging is doing. And again, here we go. So you can see what we're doing. That's the dodge. And I'm at 30% opacity with a 40% flow. Again, you want to paint your dodge. You want to dodge exactly where your highlights are. It just helps accentuate. And that's what our dodge is like. I can probably go a little bit more up here, so maybe 40 and 40. And again, if you go a little too much, you can either unpaint it or you can taper it off with opacity on the adjustment layer itself. There you go, that's the dodge. It feels pretty good. And we'll go to the burn. Same thing, we'll kind of come like middle to shadows, and again, luminosity. And again, Command I. So I will start at 30 and 40, and we're going to be painting to burn or darken. So I'm going to darken her hair a little bit. It's kind of getting hit by some sun. Create a little bit more depth. Darken her eyebrows, give a little more direction. Same thing over here. You want to pick up where the shadows already are, just to further emphasize. Burning the lips, give them a little bit more depth. Same thing, come down here, create more direction on her pants. Same thing here. And there you have it. So I'll throw these on the same layer so I can show you exactly where we were and how we modified it. So we started off here, Auburn, our great model, and started off here. So we started off here, we did a little retouch, not bad. Did a little bit of skin smoothing, you can see the frequency separation happening. And did a little dodging and burning. Dodging and burning is pretty necessary for portraits, helps create dimension and depth to the face. And the color modification. So, click and hold to show you just what we did. And that's about 15 minutes of work. Thanks again for coming by the channel today. I hope there was some valuable information for you to take away and to apply to your own work. Please let me know if you have any suggestions or recommendations as to what you want me to produce and show you guys. I'm happy to cater to you. And until next time,